to our video lesson for today. Well, it's great that I came back here again, and I'm focusing in English then once more. Welcome to the third quarter. So, let's discuss a certain topic that maybe most of us already know, but then, as always, I can use Taglish here in this video lesson so that everyone could understand the points that I make. So let's go to the use of variety of informative, persuasive, and argumentative writing techniques. You know what? In our last video lesson, we have discussed this topic about argumentative essays. Now, we'll go on to how to use some techniques while you're writing. You know what, guys? What we must have to know is what we must have to know in the writing techniques that we must have to use to is if we go on to recognize the topics that we must have to discuss. So let's go for this. Let's go to this one. How do we compose a good informative piece of writing? So we've got the following. Point 1, get your facts straight. You must have to make sure that your evidence will inform those people who are reading your own article. Kumbaga, dapat siguraduhin na diretsahan yan. Wala pong palapalabok. Point 2, make it interesting. Interesante ba yung paksa na iyong na i-discuss? We must have to make sure the topics that we are presenting here must be interesting. Also, organize. Why we have 3 words there? Organize, organize, organize. Just make sure that your topic will be in an organized way from beginning to the end. Also, put ideas to work in informative writing. Remember these questions. What essential information does my audience need to know? What will be the topic that you must have to do here or to discuss? Which details are important? Although every detail is important when it comes to writing, you must have to find more important details that you must have to consider in writing. How can I make this subject interesting to my readers? Just make sure that you have some sort of writing techniques that students can recognize while they are reading the article that you are presenting. What is the focus? You must in this topic in this topic or in this writing that you are presenting to, just make sure that you have the focus on this. Siguraduhin mo na hindi ka hihiwalay sa pinakapaksa nito. And lastly, the point. What's your point in the said subject? You must have to remember that, my friends. Concerning to the term ideas, think about it. Okay? You should ask yourself these questions as you prepare to draft informative writing. As you think through which details are most important, keep in mind ideas. I stands for interest, D for details, E for explanation, A for audience, and S for style. We must have to remember that acronym. Now, if we look at the language features, for example, in informative writing, we must have to follow these terms. We have the writing style, we have the structure, we have the language features. You know what, my friends? We must have to recognize this because at the end of single day, as we write, for example, we are writing informative essay, you must have to make sure that you are following these steps, especially its language features and many more. You know what? Let's face it, argument is part of everyday life, whether in form of simply debating with a friend on who is the best K-pop star or negotiating with your teacher to extend a given deadline. Ahem, ahem. You make your arguments and hear others all the time. Sa madaling sabi, kahit sa pagbibigay ng impormasyon, may mga pagkakataon na ito ay naisasagawa by means of not arguing, I mean presenting arguments, presenting your reasons why. Persuasion and argumentation are similar in almost all aspects. Some authors use them interchangeably, and in essence, both require taking a stand about something and using reasons and logic to support your stand. You see, the purpose of persuasion in writing is to convince, motivate, or move readers toward a certain point of view or opinion. The act of trying to persuade automatically implies more than one opinion on the subject can be argued, and the idea of an argument often conjures up images of two people yelling and screaming in anger. However, in writing, iba namang usapan yan. Sometimes I have read some of the argumentative essays of some of my students, and I find it interesting, I find it informative, I find it provocative, you name it. Well, an argument is a reasoned opinion supported and explained by evidence. Hindi yung tipong yung nagsisigawan kayo dyan, nag-aaway kayo dyan. Diba? To argue in writing is to advance knowledge and ideas in a positive way. Written arguments often fail when they employ ranting rather than reasoning. Remember the following here. Subtle but significant differences between argumentative and persuasive writing. What is the goal of argumentative writing? Get reader to acknowledge that your side is valid and deserves consideration as another point of view. How about the goal of persuasive writing? To get reader to agree with you or your point of view on a particular topic. It's almost the same. How about the general technique? Offers the reader relevant reasons, credible facts, or sufficient evidence to support that the writer has a valid and worthy perspective. How about in persuasive writings, general technique? Blends facts and emotion in attempt to convince the readers that the writer is right, often relies heavily in opinion. So in argumentative writing, you are presenting your own arguments by dealing with those pieces of evidence. On persuasive, although there are evidence, mostly you're writing it based on emotion. What is the starting point of argumentative? Research a topic, then align with one side. How about persuasives? Starting point. Identify a topic and your side. We have the viewpoint, we have the audience, we have the attitude. You see, in the viewpoint of argumentative writing, acknowledge that opposing views exist, not only to hint at what a fair-minded person you are, but to give you the opportunity to counter these views tactfully in order to show why you feel that your own view is the more worthy one to hold. While in persuasion has a single-minded goal. It's based on a personal conviction that a particular way of thinking is the only sensible way to think. Writer presents one side, his own side. So, kumbaga, kung titingnan natin yung argumentative essay, bagamat present tayong isa pang side, parang dinedebunk niya yun. Pero sa persuasive writing, isa lang. The rest, wala na. Kumbaga, inassume na ito ay dismissed or ito ay na-debunk o kaya na-refute. Who are the audience? In argumentative, it doesn't need an audience to convince. The writer is content with simply putting it out there. Kumbaga, it is up to you who will decide if you will go on to accept his view or not. Pero sa persuasive writing, obviously, kumbaga, hinihikayat mo, you are persuading them, you are convincing them. How about the attitude in argumentative? Simply to get the reader to consider you have an idea worthy of listening to. The writer is sharing a conviction whether the audience ends up agreeing or not. Kumbaga, ang focus, it's up to you. Kung maniniwala ka, kung magre-research ka, you name it. It doesn't matter. Pero, sa persuasive, syempre, obviously, more personal, more passionate, more emotional. Syempre, mag-agree yun. Mag-agree, hindi mag-agree, mga ganyan ba? Concerning to this, we must have to remember, what are we doing in the introductory paragraph here? Get the reader's attention with a hook or grabber about your topic, which is, yan na po. Excuse me, naka-highlight mo na ito ng pula. Second, provide any background information for your reader to understand the topic. So, andyan na po siya. Ano ba yung naging paksa na pinag-uusapan nyo dyan? Siyempre pa, what is the thesis statement of this? So you see the said statement here. And I hope we will go on to understand that. Well, next point. In main body paragraph 1, which I will show you later. Point 1, topic sentence explaining your point or reason. Point 2, possible mention of an opposing view to this point. Point 3, evidence to back your point. And lastly, transition. Guys, you can see it to yourself, especially the highlighted ones, where it presented the said research as an evidence. If you want to pause this video, especially to the graded students, to find out the points to present or whatever it is, okay? How about the paragraph 2? You see, it's almost the same. I mean, it's the same as well. But you know what? Reminder, you may add as many paragraphs as you can following the same format. In this, we will mention an opposing view to show that we also acknowledge the merit of the other side, but we will still keep our argument strong by citing more pieces of evidence. As you can see here, it is another example. Okay. Lastly, let's go to the conclusion. Writing conclusion, prestate thesis statement. Summary of main reasons to support your argument and finalizing statement about your topic and argument. So here it is. I hope you have learned this lesson, and I'm hoping and praying that while we are examining those pieces of evidence, we are examining the argumentative or even persuasive writing or even informative ones, we can understand why the writing of these following essays or articles, it is very, very, very important to point out. Okay, so I hope that we have learned a lot in this subject. So that's all for now, and I hope we have learned a lot. So thank you for listening, students. I see you on our next video lesson.